right. So it's a couple minutes after 6. We'll probably have more people joining. But hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to the first Friends of the PTO meeting or Friends of Ventura Park meeting of the year. We are recording this because we'll put it on our YouTube channel. So if you're not comfortable having your face on a YouTube channel, it's a public channel, but nobody, not many people go on it. But if you're not comfortable having your face on it, then feel free to turn your microphone or your camera off. And thank you everybody for coming. So we started doing Zoom meetings, of course, during the pandemic, and it's definitely something that we're going to continue doing even after it becomes safe to meet in person. We're going to figure out a way to make sure that we incorporate the Zoom component too, because it means that a lot of our teachers can come and makes it a lot more accessible for our families. So it's nice to see everybody's on here. My name's Shannon Squire, and I've been the president of the PTO for the last couple of years, and I'm still, on the kind of Friends of Ventura Park Advisory Committee. So I've been running these meetings, and so I'll probably continue to for the rest of the year, but I have a 5th grader who will be in the middle school next year. So I won't be at Ventura Park anymore, which will be sad. So sad. So we thought one of the things we thought we would do right at the beginning, if you're comfortable, and if you're not comfortable, totally understand. But if you're comfortable, do a little introduction, say who you are, what your connection to the school is, and why you came to the meeting tonight. What brought you to today's meeting. So I think what I'll do is kind of go across my screen so we're not talking on top of each other. So Nathan, you're first.
My name is Nathan Dunbar. I'm a parent. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay. My name is Nathan Dunbar. I'm a parent of, currently a 1st grader. I have an 8th grader at Footlight, and then I have a preschooler who will be a kindergartner next year at Ventura Park. So my wife and I have been involved with the PTO, or the Friends of the PTO, Friends of Ventura Park, for, 5 years, something like that. Yeah. So, nice to meet you all.
So the next person is Holly.
Hi, everyone. I'm Holly Shower. If I haven't met you yet, I'm the principal at Ventura Park, and I am at the PTO meeting because I am the principal of Ventura Park. But in all seriousness, I do. This group means a lot to me. We're trying to rebrand ourselves a little bit, and we're just at the start of that. And I do apologize because the last couple of weeks I've been kind of incognito as we've gotten things started up, but I think things are starting to iron out a little bit, which I will talk about in a moment. So thanks everybody for being here.
Awesome, thanks Holly. Anna, you're next on my screen.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Lay. I'm the Sun Site Manager at Ventura Park. So what that means is I manage the Sun Extended Day After School program, as well as just serving as a touch point for the community. If there are needs for resources, if you need help with navigating certain systems, I'm just here to help alongside Ms. Chakui, who I'm sure will speak and share a little bit about that later. And was there a follow-up question, Shannon, or was that it?
Just kind of what brought you to the meeting tonight.
Oh, okay. I'm just here to get to know the community that I'm now a part of and will be serving and working alongside. So I'm really excited to meet everyone and to get to know y'all.
Thanks, Anna. Rhonda, you're next.
I'm Rhonda Stapleton, and I teach 5th grade. I have Shannon's lovely daughter in my classroom right now. I've had Nathan's sweet daughter, Mary Beth, a few years ago as well. And I'm here to support you guys.
Thank you. All right, Alex, you're next.
I'm Alex Ferguson, and I have a 2nd grader, Maeve, and a 3rd grader, Finley. at Ventura Park. And I just want to be, a part of the community. And if I'm able to help in some way, I would like to do so.
Awesome, thank you. Emery, you're next.
Hey, I'm Emery Way. I'm the other fifth grade teacher. So I sort of have Astrid, but but yeah, I'm here because I'm excited to see where PTO goes, and also it is very helpful that these are on Zoom now because I was able to get home. So I think I'll be able to show up a lot more.
Yay, that's awesome. Super, thanks, Emery. Marion, you're next.
Hey everyone, Marion Palmer. I am a parent of a first grader and also a preschooler who will be at Ventura Park next year. We got started with Miss Jacqui in the Play and Learn program a couple of years back, so it was cool to have that as an intro to the school. And I got started with PTO last year, have been kind of involved in some of the garden grants and looking forward to maybe doing more kind of community-based activities as we go forward. So I want to be helpful to whatever the school needs and supportive, but also trying to really bring in more families to build that community.
Thanks, Marion. All right, so Colin Nolan is the next one.
Emily. I'm Emily Nolan. My daughter Alice is in first grade this year. I just wanted to join to learn more about what you guys do and be involved if we can. This is her first year in school, so we're just happy to be here.
Thanks for coming. All right, Jeremy, you're next.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. My wife Amy was kind of peeking in. We have a fourth grader and a second grader. There's my wife Amy. Fourth grader and a second grader at Ventura Park. And similar to what Alex said, we just want to be involved with the community and see how we can be of help.
Super, thank you. Miss Jacqui, you're next.
Hello, families. My name is Miss Jacqui, and I am the family coordinator of VP. I do all the prenatal work and the hunger relief projects. I teach the prenatal play and learn class where a lot of my parents are on here. Hi, families. But yes, I am here because I just want to be able to provide the families in the community with more resources that they typically wouldn't get if they're missing emails and phone calls. And so this is a great place to come to determine what we're doing, what we're planning on doing, and how me and Anna, the community partners, can best serve our community.
Super, thank you. Natasha, you're next.
Yeah, hi, this is Ross Gustafson. Natasha and I are Addie's parents in the second grade. And yeah, we just wanted to check in and see if we can be part of it all.
Super, thank you. All right, Aaron, you're next.
Hi, thanks. Aaron Barrow, father of a fourth grader and a fifth grader at Ventura, past PTO member and board member. And I'm working on a project in the garage, but I realized it was 6 and I didn't want to miss this meeting. So here I am.
Awesome, Aaron, thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa. All right, we'll go to Rob.
I have finished my dinner. Thanks for the interlude.
I put you last. So
I think my chin is clear and my shirt's clean. So it's a couple of amazing things. But anyway, my name is Rob Rimmer. I teach fourth grade, and I'm here to say thanks to PTO for always supporting us, especially at the beginning of the years. That's always kind and always a help. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. And Melissa, I don't know if you're available, if you want to introduce yourself, and if not, that's fine. Okay. Oh, you're muted.
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I'm driving home and I was trying to do this and make it home because I didn't want to miss the meeting tonight because anyway, my son is a third grader. And I'm just really interested in trying to help out as much as I can and be a part of Ventura Park.
Super. Thank you so much. And thanks for your dedication calling on the road.
It's fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. We're super happy to have you here. We PTO, you know, last year was a different year for everybody, the last year and a half. And so we are trying to come at this year with the goal of kind of working on what we want the PTO to do. You know, we can kind of build it from scratch with what we see our community needs being now and the interests of the people who are able to give some time and energy to the organization. And so we have renamed it Friends of Ventura Park, and we're hoping to have many people with many great ideas working together to, you know, to see what we can do to support our teachers, to support our families, to support our children, you know, all of that. So, so good to see so many people here. This is really awesome. And what we usually do is start the meeting off by checking in with our principal, our Sunsite coordinator, our family coordinator, and sometimes our garden coordinator. So we'll start that now with Holly.
Thanks, Shannon. Well, we are up and running. I can't tell you how exciting it is to have all of our students in the building. You know, we have lots of safety protocols and such, so things are a little different, but everyone's here, and I see and hear kids learning and laughing and talking to each other, and those are sounds that we just haven't heard enough of the last year and a half. And so that part of being back is just really joyous, and I'm excited about it. We have our garden program has started back up, and I don't see Alicia or Jamila here, but we, our Grow Portland program, it never went away, but of course we couldn't have classes in the garden last year, and those have resumed. And that again is just so wonderful to see kids getting outside and getting to see and touch and smell and sometimes taste our bounty from the garden. It's one of the more exciting things happening at the school. I know that Anna will talk about sun, but our classes are about to begin, and I'm excited to have in-person sun classes back on site again. This might not be as exciting to you, but we're also starting our Dibbles reading assessments and our math inventory, because we don't really know where our kids are in a lot of cases. And so we're going to be able to really see what kids know, what kids need to know, and meet them where they are. And that's an exciting part about teaching. We have started a focus on some restorative practices, implementing some restorative practices. We're working with a professional out of the Oakland, California area named Michael Essien. Included his information, I think, in the opening letter. He had quite a bit of time with us when we started up school this year with staff, and will be revisiting us a few times throughout the year. And what we're starting right now is called push-in services. And that's something that we're experimenting with, that when a student is having trouble in class, instead of pulling the student out of class always to the office, which is really disruptive for everyone involved, we have a system where we give the teacher a little break and some time to talk to that student and see what's going on and see if they can re-enter into the class. Not going to be effective 100% of the time, but the more effective it is, the better. We can keep students in class, part of the community and learning. So that's something that's new. We're continuing our focus on mindfulness and wellness. We start every day with community circle with kids and a mindful moment where they just take a moment to check in with their bodies and their minds, and then share with each other and connect socially and emotionally. Lastly, this might not be the best thing to end with, but we have, we're in a pandemic. I'm very proud though of Ventura Park's safety protocols. They really seem to have been working. Only this week have we had our first positive case at school. And that's pretty good in comparison with other schools in the district. But we've had a few exposures, and we've had some kids showing symptoms. And when kids show symptoms, they have to stay home. And some of you have experienced this and are experiencing this right now. And so that part of it can be definitely inconvenient, but I feel that we are really providing a safe atmosphere for our students and our staff, and I'm really proud of that. So thanks for your involvement in that. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Holly. So if anybody, as we're meeting here, if anybody has questions or anything, you can pop them in the chat or pipe up, but just popping them in the chat is fine, and I'll make sure I'm paying attention to that. Okay, so Anna, you're up.
Thanks, Shannon. So I wanted to share that Sun Extended Day is starting up again next week, as Holly mentioned. So very exciting. I'm so excited to have students in person in Sun, as well as just humbled by how much the students at Ventura Park already know about Sun and already are so excited to come back. I am new, so I'm just really excited to get to know the children and to see that excitement again. Confirmation letters went home today in students' backpacks. So if you turned in a registration form for the Sun program, you should have received a confirmation letter in your student's backpack today. If not today, then sometime this week. So that confirmation letter will let you know important details such as your students' days in the program times, the mode of transportation that you put on the form just for confirmation. And my phone number is on that confirmation letter as well, just in case you have any questions and want to get in touch, please give me a call. I also wanted to share that we do have a limited number of volunteer opportunities with the Sun program. Those opportunities would either be with the hunger relief team, where we give away free food every Monday at 3:30, or it could potentially be with the Sun Extended Day team, which is the after school program. I'm hoping to coordinate something sort of like pop-up classes, where if members of our community have expertise in something like a hobby that you've had your whole life, such as sewing, and would just be interested in teaching a one-off class to introduce our students to a new skill, or something that you're an expert at. I think that would be a really fun opportunity to coordinate. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'm going to pop my email in the chat, and you can let me know if you're interested in either one of those opportunities, either with the Hunger Relief team or the Sun Extended Day team. Again, the opportunities will be limited, as we do have to follow contact tracing and all that. So the opportunities will be limited and they won't be immediate, because there are processes to go through to be approved to be a volunteer. So again, I'll pop my email in the chat, and please let me know if you are interested in any of those opportunities. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Anna. And Mr. Kui. We can come back to Mr. Kui. I'll just put in the chat maybe. All right. All right, so thank you everybody for that. And I know kind of anecdotally that kids have already been in the garden, so that's exciting. As far as garden updates go. Oh, Mr. Kui, hello.
Hi, I'm so sorry.
No,
so I only have a couple of updates. The most important update, and I don't know if Anna just shared, I'm sorry. We are having the food program back in full effect. It's every Monday after school underneath the covered basketball area from 3:30 to 4. So that's our fresh food pantry. We also have the non-perishable pantry that is the backpack program, where families who just need a little bit of extra food can enroll into the program and get food delivered to their homes every other Friday. Typically the first and the third Friday of the month. And if there's no school on Friday, then we'll try to do it on the Thursday if the driver can accommodate. Play and Learn class starts tomorrow. So I'll see a lot of you there. I'm so excited. So we still will be able to have that. Unfortunately, the class is going to be virtual, but I have been able to prepare and get the funding to pack kids extensive, interactive, fun, educational kits so that we can be able to have this type of learning environment via the computer screen. And in a couple of weeks, I will also be sending out invitations for a parent cafe. For those of you who don't know, a parent cafe is just an adult meeting area where we typically eat over food and answer questions and dig into intimate conversations where we can just build community. So if anyone is interested, I would definitely love to invite you to have. It's just a community circle of parents. And I'm trying right now to get my job to provide dinner for everyone. So like I'll pay for dinner, people go pick it up and then come back home and enjoy listening to me. It's a really good event, and I just want to make sure that I'm still putting on things so that families and parents of all kinds can interact together and really learn about Ventura Park's environment. I've been here for 6 years, and like Shannon, my daughter is in 6th grade now, so she is no longer at Ventura Park. We came together every day since kinder, and now I commute by myself, but she's doing great. So I just want to make sure that parents are reaching out if they have any type of needs or any type of resources, essential item needs, food. We don't have funding for bill pay right now, but we do have a lot of resources under our umbrella that will be more than happy to share with parents as long as we know that there's a concern. So if you know someone that's a part of VP community, please tell them to reach out to myself, Anna, or even the school, just so that we can know, so we can keep them on our radar to be able to share our resources with them. That's everything I have.
Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome.
Awesome. And I know that we have some teachers here, so I don't know if any teachers have anything, or if anybody has anything that they want to share before we kind of go over the agenda. But if you do, you can kind of wave. Okay. Good to see you all, though. Okay, so yeah, generally speaking, at a meeting, we'll have the garden coordinator too, and they'll give us an update. I know that classes have started going out to the garden, which is awesome. We've paid the first garden bill through a grant that we got. Maren and Nathan worked really hard and secured 2 grants to help pay for the garden. One of them through Whole Foods and the other one through, I think, ODE, the Oregon Department of Education. Is that right? Yeah. And so we've got the whole garden taken care of for this year, which is wonderful. We also talked about doing a fall fundraiser. And in the past, we've done fundraisers. We've done Willamette Valley Pie fundraisers. We've done a World's Best Chocolate fundraiser. These are all done kind of before the winter break. And this year, there have been some people kind of chatting about it, and we've kind of gone back and forth and thought that maybe it would be best to put a big fundraiser back to the spring when more people can be vaccinated and we're in maybe a better place for gathering in person. And instead do something it's called like a fundraiser-less fundraiser, where we basically just send a letter out and ask if anybody has any money that they would have spent on a fundraiser if they'd want to just donate to the PTO. Thanks, Natasha, for that question. So Natasha asked what the funds have been used for in the past. And in a regular year, and this is also on our agenda, but I'll read this out. In a typical year, the PTO pays for things for classes specifically. Hold on, let me let somebody in. Like 4th grade used to do a Frisbee golf trip, and I'm not sure if that's something that's going to continue after the, kind of pandemic's over. Safety patrol kids get to go to Oaks Park at the end of the year, so the PTO pays for that. An end of year, we used to have an end of year carnival, and the PTO pays for that too. Family game night in the spring. Teacher and classified appreciation days. We do some support for that. There are 2 weeks in the spring, and either teachers or classified staff are celebrated every day, and the PTO takes one of the days. And so in the past, we've provided like a potluck breakfast or something like that with little treats. And over pandemic, we did boxed lunches from Subway. Supplementing contributions for Feed the Teachers. So I don't know if that's going to happen again, but we used to do a potluck Feed the Teachers during conferences too. And so the PTO would kind of fill in where there were spots. Grow Portland Garden support, although we do have those grants for that. And then we also give the teachers a check at the beginning of every year for a kind of support for them to build their classrooms. So that's what we use the funds for. So it's, we operate on a pretty slim margin. You know, many years we make, you know, we kind of, the money comes in and it goes right back out, you know, so just, so the fundraisers are really important for sure. But it just feels like this year, it might be difficult to have a big fundraiser in the fall. And if anybody wants to, like, if anybody has any like input or anything, I can chat about that. The pie fundraiser is super yummy. Oh yeah, and we help kindergarten pay for their plan book online. Yes, thanks, Marcia. And the pies are super yummy, and they're totally worthwhile. They're worth doing. We still have some in our freezer from the last sale. Jeremy, yes.
Yeah, Amy was mentioning one of the difficulties with the pie fundraiser is transporting all those pies and keeping them frozen during this time, in addition to the people contact. But a fun type of fundraiser that doesn't need refrigeration is a plant fundraiser, which we haven't done before. So I just was going to throw that idea that Amy had out there.
Yeah. As somebody who has bought plants from plant fundraisers that friends' kids have done, I love that fundraiser. Yeah, so I think one of the things we talked about doing was trying to gauge people's interest in what kind of support they want to give to the PTO. And having a fundraising group or committee could be super fun, because then the committee could research a couple different things, figure out what fits and what makes sense to do, and then, you know, organize it and get more volunteers to help organize it. Okay, real quick, there was a little, oh, and Holly Marin would like the new Grow Portland contacts. She has supplies from the grant to deliver to them. And Chipotle night. So we haven't talked about doing restaurant nights, but yeah, Chipotle is a great one. It's super easy to do. And we'll probably have a couple of restaurant nights as we kind of get deeper into the school year. So thanks, Rhonda, for that question. So yeah, because of kind of how the PTO is, fundraising is really important. And can I like a show of hands if you would be interested in pushing back the pie fundraiser and doing one of those fundraiser list fundraisers? If anybody thinks that's okay, cool. And we've done pretty well with those in the past. We have some families have asked the companies they work for, and so we've gotten donations that way. So that's something, you know, when we send that out, we will talk about that as ideas for people. And so
in that idea would be like whatever letter we send out would have a little more information about like, hey, what's the budget of the PTO and what do we need money for, you know, because it's not obvious to folks who aren't, you know, deeply involved. So I think that's important. We make sure that gets across to folks. But, you know, one thing, you know, like the garden, you know, a lot of folks, people don't realize that the PTO supports several $1,000s a year to make that garden program go. And yeah, we're looking for grants in the future to make that happen, but listing out the other things that we would like to be able to do with any funding we have is good.
Right. Yeah. And there's, there's kind of what we do and then what we could do, and there are a lot of like really amazing big picture things that we could do if we could have bigger fundraisers, if we could figure out, do more grant writing and all of that stuff. I know that in the past years past, the PTO raised funds for the playground, and it's for the big kids playground. That was a PTO joint. Yes, Holly.
Sorry, first I clapped. I clicked the wrong emoticon, but I am applauding you. Another thing that I wanted to bring up that I've said in previous PTO meetings, I am Friends of Ventura Park meetings. I am very interested in more wellness funds because I would like there to be a part-time yoga program at Ventura Park. Right now we have the space to do it, and we might not always. So I kind of want to capitalize on that. So we have an established space that's being used for that, and maybe even coordinate. I don't know if I've talked to you about this yet, and I don't think I have, with Sun, to maybe have an instructor that could even be there sometimes during the day to do some yoga activities with students and stretch. It's just all part of our we have scheduled movement breaks into the day, but they're only like 10 minutes. And so it's just more ways for kids to help regulate themselves and their bodies and their emotions, and available for staff too. So if as people are just out there looking around for things, so we could use PTO funds for that, just straight up, fundraising funds. But also if you come across any wellness grants or anything like that, that sounds like it could be used for that, that would be great.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. And Anna says that she has a Zumba instructor in mind, so that'd be fun. Awesome. So as far as our budget goes, right now, and this is with a $1,600 check kind of in the mail, we have $5,427.95. We wrote 23 teachers grant checks this year of $100 each, and not all of them, and I don't even think the majority of them have yet been cashed. And then part of that money, $3,000 of that money, is also from that Whole Foods grant, and that goes directly to the garden. So that doesn't get touched for anything else. In 2020-21 school year, we fundraised $3,299.34 through restaurant nights, a very minimal amount from Amazon Smile. So if anybody orders through Amazon, you can, register for the little Amazon Smile, and a little bit of your purchases go toward the PTO. Last year we made, for the whole school year, we made $42.35. So not bad. Some parents sign up to have matching for their employers. And so we made about $750. No, we made more than that. Through two different funds, we made about $1,200. So that's amazing. We had a couple fundraisers. The pie sale, we made $1,000. We did a butter braids sale, breakfast sweets, and we made $269. We made Papa Murphy's. We've made $100 in Papa Murphy's. The 2 Chipotles we did last year, we made about $250. Old Spaghetti Factory, we tried. We only made $65. And at Domino's, we did a fundraiser and we made $500, but a lot of that was the owner of the store donated to the PTO, which was amazing. And so then, we made $3,200, but we spent $6,000. So that's where we need to figure out fundraising and grants, because we had that extra money. And so we were able to spend that, but that's not always going to be the case. And right now we're kind of at a lower starting point than we were before. And so a lot of that was the garden. We did some support when we went to distance learning last year, and I think it was maybe for the fall when we got like, yeah, it was the fall because it was the smoke. We bought the whiteboards that all the students got last year in their beginning of the year kits. And then the classified certified appreciation and the teacher grants and the secretary appreciation were another, good chunk of money. So like I said, right now, as we stand, if we have good fundraisers, then we're able to do what we really want to, and, kind of what our goal is to do. So if anybody out there has knowledge or skills in grant writing, Nathan and Maren have done a great job. I'm sure they could use help with that. So if that's where your skill set is, please reach out to us. If anybody is interested in fundraising and thinking about different fundraisers that we can do and different restaurant nights, that kind of thing, please reach out to us. We're going to create a questionnaire that we'll send out when we send the notes from this meeting, and you can say what you're interested in. And then we're hoping to build some little committees of different specialties. And I think that's the major thing we had on our just regular agenda. So does anybody have anything to add or any questions? As one of my friends would say, questions, comments, concerns?
Just something to think about for the future. It's not going to be something that we can do this year probably, but you mentioned it before, like family nights and those kinds of things. PTO has always been really involved in creating opportunities for families to come together in time with different themes. And again, we probably can't do it this year, but let's still keep that on our agenda for when some of our restrictions are lifted. And I just saw a question about trunk or treat. Yeah. And I don't know what your thoughts are about that, but I feel uneasy about that during the current climate, but I'm open to hear what other people think.
Yeah, so for folks that don't know what trunk or treat is, we didn't have it last year. I think the year before we did, but it's in the parking lot and people set up their cars with, like they kind of decorate their cars and then give out candy. So it's a safe place for kids to trick or treat. And the family that used to be really into organizing it is no longer at Ventura Park. Their kids have aged out of Ventura Park. My personal opinion on it is that we probably won't have it because there's nobody to organize it. It's not, I don't know that it's as inclusive as it could be because we have a lot of families that don't celebrate Halloween. We're still being very, I think we are all still being very cautious about gathering, and I don't even know if my kids are going to be going trick-or-treating at all this year personally. And Jeremy said he's hesitant to participate in trick-or-treat activities too. So I don't think there's, even if everything was good coronavirus wise, I just don't think that we have the time to organize something like that, or the committee, the group. And if anybody else has anything to add to that, that's been involved in the past.
I agree. It takes a lot more effort than some people might realize. It's more than just an open invitation to folks to come with their cars and their candy. It takes a lot more coordination than that. And this is coming from someone who, I do celebrate Halloween, and it is actually my favorite day of the year. So if someone like that is saying, I don't think it's a good idea for us to do both with the time it will take and just, I personally don't feel like it sends the right message in this time of trying to be non-virus spreaders, right? So those are my 2 cents about it.
And I will say too, just kind of plugging this whole, make sure you fill out the questionnaire we'll send out. One of the things that you can express interest in is being involved in events. And so that would be a potential event that the PTO would put on. Some of the other events, like Holly was saying earlier, that the PTO in normal years puts on. A couple of years we did a holiday bazaar in December, which was super fun. We just did it in the cafetorium and the gym. And then in the spring, we would do a family game night. And we would have bingo set up in the cafetorium, and we had a bake sale one year. And we had whoopie pies. Somebody made whoopie pies. It was really great. And we would have a board game room, and we would have we have these big cardboard Jenga games and darts, not like dangerous darts, but Velcro darts, things like that. That was always a really fun night that we did. In typical years, we have done an end of year carnival. We've already talked at the end of last year, we decided that the carnival is going to kind of segue into more of a community picnic. And so we're going to be planning that for the spring, and that'll be an end of year thing. It'll be a lot different than the kind of bonkers carnival we've had in the past. Book fair, yes, thanks, Melissa. We had a book fair. We had it maybe 2 years, and we did it through Scholastic, and the PTO helped with staffing, but it was mostly our librarian who did it. And they were able to make money to buy a bunch of books for the library. So that was awesome. Holiday Bazaar, yeah, Jackie, we had a Holiday Bazaar 2 years. We made a little bit of money, and I spent a bunch of money because there were some really wonderful things there. So hopefully once the world gets a little bit less like it is right now, hopefully we'll be able to have something like that again. And, we were talking about even exploring different book fair options other than Scholastic. There are some other companies that do book fairs. Oh my gosh, a dance would be so fun.
To hear like just what people think about, we're kind of on this idea of like events, and we talked about, we really want to focus on kind of like how do we build the school community. And a lot of those things, they don't have to be things that cost money, so there's the fundraising for things that do cost money, but also that effort that goes into like event planning or community activities. And a lot of that is supporting the things that Anna and Jacqui are going to be doing for the school, which is awesome. But yeah, just if people have ideas about like, hey, what are the things that could be like COVID safe and doable, free activities that we could sponsor, probably not this fall, but especially in the spring. And yeah, I like your idea, Shannon, of having maybe a committee that's the events committee and one that's the fundraising committee. And
yeah, super. Yeah, I think that there are some really good things that have come out of this whole pandemic year. And one of them is easier connection, being able to have these online so more people can come and can come more easily, but then also a chance to kind of reinvent the PTO with a view for what this community, the community that is in Ventura Park right now, wants and needs. So all these ideas, just because we've had the Holiday Bazaar before doesn't mean we need to have it again. Just because we've had these family game nights in this specific way doesn't mean we need to have it again. I will say that one of the goals of PTO, ever since I started to be involved in it when my kiddo was in kindergarten, my oldest, was that the community events were free for families, and that there is an opportunity to purchase a bingo card for $1, but that for the most part, everything's free. There aren't, you don't have to pay money to get into any of our events. And I think that's really important to continue with that. And there's a little chatter going on about a dance, and Erin initially said a Halloween dance, which does seem too soon. And also, again, I think I feel like the inclusion thing for me, you know, I don't know that not everybody celebrates it, but something like a spring dance or winter dance could be super fun. And a virtual auction, yeah, I mean, that all sounds great. I think that just because of how late it is in the year now, I think that we probably won't be able to do anything until after the first of the year, but if we have people who are motivated and interested in planning, we could do something sooner too. So is there anybody else, like, do you have any ideas, or, you know, have you come to the PTO with certain ideas of what you think the PTO should be, or what you've seen the community needs that we could do? Erin's very interested in the virtual auction.
Can I say how nice it is to have a couple of new parents of first graders here? I'm so excited. So great to get some new blood in here, people that are interested in helping out and being part of the community. So I just wanted to throw a shout out, you know.
Awesome. Yay. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that kind of figuring out everybody, your assignments as you go home, is to kind of think about what you would like to see this year with the PTO, and think about what you can offer to the community and the PTO if you have time, if you have expertise, if you have, you know, like mad grant writing skills, any of that. Just think about that, and we'll get a questionnaire together, and it'll be really easy to fill out Google form questionnaire, and you can share what you think of when you think of the PTO, what you think the PTO should be offering. Oh my gosh, I see your doggy, Emily, your doggy is so cute, sorry. So yeah, so just think about what you know, we're kind of building a new thing here with the Friends of Ventura Park. And we'll send out notes, and we'll send a link to our YouTube channel with the recording of this. We'll try to get them sent out by the beginning of next week, and then we can start building committees and see what we can do.
Hey, Shannon, who do we send that to? Does that go, like, Holly sends it to the entire school email list, or I know we talked about, like, hey, do we need like more of a email group of just, you know, people who've expressed interest in volunteering. So curious to hear folks' thoughts on that. Should we, I know a couple of people put their email in the chat to say, hey, send me the notes. That's awesome. But yeah, especially if we get kind of, maybe from that questionnaire, if we get people that respond and say, hey, I'm interested, we can kind of start forming committees and maybe more of a contact list that way.
Yeah, what I was thinking, and it'd be great to get everybody's input on this, I was thinking of asking for both email addresses and also phone numbers, like, you know, kind of what kind of communication people most appreciate, because we could, whatever committees we have, the person who's the point person for that committee could have a text, you know, kind of a text string or text group or an email group. I know that some people would prefer text and some people email. So that was one of the things. And is there anything else that anybody thinks would be a good piece of information to get from a survey of interested parents and caregivers?
I think we need to be clear about the categories. If we say, like, hey, what are the things you're interested in? A lot of people wouldn't know, like, what's possible. But if we say, hey, like, are you interested in events? Are you interested in, like, receiving help from PTO. I think one of the things we can be is just like general, person to ask. I might hesitate to contact my kid's teacher with a random question, but if there's like, maybe like a, I don't know what we call that. What do we call the like student support, parent support, just contact group?
I wish that there was something non-Facebook that we could utilize, because it is nice to have, because I don't use Facebook very much at all anymore. But there is something to be said for having a place where people can do that kind of thing, and people utilize the VP Facebook group or the PTO Facebook group for a lot of those kind of questions, and it's super helpful for them. There are many people that don't use Facebook, and I feel like I wish there was a place we could send people, right, that had information like that. And people can always email, like a liaison. We talked about doing, last year we tried to get kind of parent liaison to each of the classrooms set up, and we just didn't have much of an interest. So yeah, I don't know. I wish if anybody has, I don't know, coding skills or I don't know, build some sort of a non-Facebook chat place for our school, that would be awesome. I do not have that. I'm taking some notes from
during my campaign. I was able to build a website. It's on one of the big web. I mean, it's 2 years ago, so my brain's going dead right at the moment. But it wasn't super hard to build. I think it was like $4 to $6 a month, and on Squarespace or one of those, It did take some dedication of time to actually get into it and do the virtual backgrounds and stuff. But it wasn't super hard. Not as hard as I would have expected, Yeah. But I guess there is a financial piece to that, though. Unless you're like really good at HTML and you can just code like crazy. Having like some sort of site that does a lot of the coding for you really simplifies the process.
We have had, before I was heavily involved in the PTO, we had a PTO website, but the people who created it couldn't remember their password. And so we were never able to get into it. But that's another thing we could ask for if somebody is interested in doing that. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could be, like you said, Squarespace or, whatever those free or cheap ones are. And I think it could be something that's, if somebody was able to be the webmaster, right, and add things to it and that kind of thing. Yeah. So Jeremy said he's a programmer, but he's not sure a different site would be as usable as Facebook. The barrier of entry is very low. Most people are on it. It is really helpful. Maybe having something else that we could just update. We have a page on the Ventura Park website, don't we? The school website, Holly?
Sorry, I was reading the chat.
No, that's okay. I think we have a PTO page on the school website, don't we?
We do. It's probably not current because we switched over, because Kathleen, who was our lab tech, is now filling in for Mrs. East while Mrs. East is on maternity leave, and Karen Sauer is our new lab tech. So it's in transition. She's learning how to be webmaster and all that stuff. So I would guess that there's some things that aren't current, but we do have a link or a page that has PTO information on there. By the way, our first newsletter is coming out next Wednesday. It starts, I don't remember what the date is, the 13th, I think.
Nice. That's awesome. The Voice of the Viking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been transitioning to that as well. So that's why it hasn't started yet. The Clausens have a hand up.
Yep. Hello.
Hello. I have this question forming in my brain, and I don't really know how I want to ask it, but it kind of has to do with, so I know that we did parent liaison. I don't know if we ever did cultural liaison, and I know that we just got this number 4 for the most multicultural school in Portland. And I know that there's a lot of language barriers and cultural barriers. and possibly even economic barriers. I'm trying to figure out how we can get PTO to be more into, culturally into these groups of people who I'm sure, would either love to partake in what we do in some form or fashion, whether or not being somebody coming to meetings or somebody just having, eating the pie or partaking in the picnic, and how do we reach those groups? It seems to be difficult, and I don't know if Holly has any ideas or what's better. Is it a Facebook group? I don't know. I don't think so either. But the phone calls work, the flyers, work, the posters work. Do people go through their Wednesday folder and see something? Like, how do we reach this demographic to get them more involved? And anyway, I think Ms. Jaquie is gone, but I don't know. It's just like, it's this big question that I've noticed that, our group is not super diverse, and how do we make it more diverse?
Yeah, I love that, those thoughts, Amy, and those questions. This is something that back before COVID happened, we had a community leadership team that was some of our ERCO volunteers, and then some parents and some teachers. And that was one of our focus areas. If you remember, we did the, I don't remember what we called it, Viking lunch days, where we invited families to come in for lunch with their kids. And that was one of the most successful things we had ever done to get new people in, because it wasn't as scary, right? It was, you don't have to come and talk to anybody. You don't have to come and meet new people. You can just come with your kid and sit with them. And we had a parent on that team, and she still works with Sun and ERCO. Her name's Anna Silvanovich, and she was sort of our Slavic liaison. And then we had Perla, who was our Spanish liaison, and our teacher Han helps a lot with Vietnamese, but now Anna also can help us with Vietnamese. And so we were taking steps in that direction. We didn't have anyone Somali, some of our other cultures that are well represented at VP, but that's certainly something that we could look at as a Friends of PTO as well. In fact, we had talked about, the community leadership team had talked about combining forces with either site council or PTO to kind of keep that going. So we had taken some baby steps in that regard, but it slipped back a little bit during COVID. At the district level, we have access to some liaisons, but they're for the whole district. Like there's a Vietnamese liaison, Somali, Spanish, and I think we're hiring for one other, and I'm probably leaving one out. But the problem is it's not school specific, right? So sometimes they're not available, and it'd be nice if we had something like that in-house.
I think having a kind of a committee, part of PTO, a committee that is focused on recruitment and focused on multicultural recruitment, diverse recruitment, and could work, if we had people who are interested in that, they could work with Anna and Perla and Han and Anna and see about getting more groups knowledgeable and interested in the PTO. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I love that idea, having cultural liaison, and maybe like each month, maybe we can focus on a different culture, like in our meeting. Like, I don't know what that means, but maybe, we have somebody from each group come, and then they can reach other family members or other, members of their community.
Okay, so I just read the PTO today. I just picked it up at the school today. And there's some talk in this magazine about diversifying your PTO. And there were some really good ideas, things like having a recipe exchange, which is something we could do. So whoever wants to do recruitment can have this magazine, and there are some really good ideas for that too. And then
or like a cookbook or something.
Oh my gosh.
Cookbook.
I love those community cookbooks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I love that, Amy. Yes. And then Karen asked about a multicultural night. Jaqui, in normal years, Jaqui generally has a multicultural night that is amazing. It's so much fun. She has performers. I don't know if every year, at least one year, she gets these boxes from, what is it, from the Oregon? Where does she get those?
It's from the Oregon Historical Society. It's actually the equity team that does the Multicultural Night, and Jaqui's a part of that.
Okay.
Jaqui's big night is the Black Excellence Night, which we did do virtually last year, which was very still very successful. But we've done our Multicultural Night with our equity team, and we get history boxes from the Oregon Historical Society. It's really cool. And we still had those last year because we had we kind of housed them because we had already rented them for our Multicultural Night in 2019, but then we weren't able to have it. So we would probably get those again if we can do things in person, but we just have to wait and see what spring is like.
Yeah, yeah. And then,
hey, Holly, the equity team, is that a teacher group or staff group?
It's a staff group, but we are looking to have some parents join. And one of the things we're talking about when we meet next week is how to extend that invitation.
Yeah, if we had like either whatever we call it, whether it's the PTO recruitment or diversity committee, that'd be great for that person to sit on that team for sure.
Yeah, it's a really thriving team. It's our biggest team. It has 12 people because we do all of our teams I don't appoint people to teams. It's by, it's self-selected. So we'd like to extend that opportunity to parents as well. So that's good to know.
And then we had another suggestion for having something for parents of kids with special needs. And that's great too. Were you envisioning like an event, kind of a event, or just more of a group of parents who are speaking to what families with special needs need from the school and from the PTO? We can talk about that too as we kind of build the PTO. A group of parents, yeah. Yeah, I like that. So that's something we can also, I can add to the questionnaire too, and we can build an email list and have a group. Awesome. Did I miss anything else in here? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think how about this too? If anybody, as you kind of go home and mull over this meeting, if you have any ideas about what you would see added to a questionnaire, and then if you want to look at the questionnaire before we send it and provide feedback, I can send that to as many people as want to kind of look at it. So if you want to do that kind of thing, you can put information in the chat, or you can email venturaparkpto@gmail.com. I'll put that over here too. Sure, let's make sure I spell it right. Yeah, and Jeremy said, I think when considering diversity and inclusion, it can be good for parents who do not have children with special needs to understand the needs of the families that do. So for sure, it wouldn't be a group that's, only for certain groups, as and as far as the cultural groups too, it wouldn't just be for people in specific cultural groups, it'd be for people who want to learn more and support those groups. We're a little over now at 7:06, so does anybody have anything else they want to talk about tonight?
hey, as I'm taking notes, I'm trying to capture like what are the action items or the things people need to cover before next meeting. And the couple things that I got down is, you know, we need somebody to draft this questionnaire. And then somebody who's going to get the meeting notes and the questionnaire to Holly to send to the parent list in the next week or so. And then also, if we had a vote on, do we try to send a kind of fundraising letter out that just shares, hey, this is our budget. Anyone who'd like to donate, here's how the 3 ways you can do it type of message. So do we need to like kind of take a vote? Hey, do we want to try to get that kind of letter out in the next month? And then if so, who wants to take the lead on it?
Yeah, let's have a vote right now. Who thinks that we should not do the pie sale and do a fundraiser list fundraiser where we just send a letter? All right, that's more than half. Awesome. And is there anybody that would like to draft that letter? I have something that we used in the past that I could share. You know, you can use information from the notes, or we can just work on it. Marin and I could work on it together too.
Yeah, that's something I'm willing to work with you on, Shannon. Who wants to do the questionnaire?
I'm willing to do it. I've built a lot of Google Forms.
All right. Trying to recruit some more people so Shannon doesn't have to take these on, but I think getting the questionnaire out with some clear, you know, committees will help us work toward that by next month. So that would be really great.
Yay. Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming. As always, if you have anything you want to share, you can email us, venturaparkpto@gmail.com. And the meetings are first Wednesday of every month right here on Zoom. Same link for all of them for the whole year. Yeah, all right. Well, is there anything else? If there's nothing else, we can say goodbye. And
I want to thank everybody for coming.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody. Thank you.